I want to show y'all some stuff tonight without getting too deep, because I know, today is Tuesday. I done caught y'all in bed. Hopefully y'all got your popcorn and a snack or something, and a device. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the history of our people, and double down on the fact that this is our stuff, and every piece of culture and every cool piece of literature as it relates to war and music and just everything, food, all of this stuff derived from us. Now, during World War One and World War Two era, there was a lot of names being taken, not just surnames, place names. For instance, you have right there on the borderline of Georgia and South Carolina, there is a place called Petersburg. It's underwater now, but it was in Georgia. And I know y'all heard me mention Peter on the last show. Petersburg, Georgia. It was the third largest city in the state of Georgia. It's now submerged underwater. And as we figure out what's going on our heirs property, we have to look at these things, no matter how hurtful they are. We have to look at what's underwater too, because that's also your property. The water being on top of it doesn't mean that it wasn't your ancestors. Now, in this Petersburg region of Georgia, bordering South Carolina, was a place called Vienna. That Vienna, like Germany, like Austria, the birthplace. Not the birthplace, but the place where Beethoven and Vivaldi, all of these classical music artists, the place where they hailed. And when you read stories about Beethoven fighting in a war on American soil, and then you see a place called Vienna, South Carolina, that's now submerged underwater as well, it makes you think which part of this history was submerged underwater, but then the name switch happened and this Vienna was taken somewhere else. And the history of every great thing that happened in Vienna, South Carolina is no longer mentioned. Or the history of every great thing that happened in Petersburg, Georgia is no longer mentioned. And so many other great cities like New Savannah that was there as well. You had, Savannah, and then you had New Savannah miles, north of it. And it's also submerged underwater. So St. Peter was sainted as a boat builder, ship builder. And Petersburg is known for its boats. They have these boats called Petersburg boats or Peter's boat. And these boats are remnants of what you see in foreign countries today. You may go to Jamaica or the Cayman Islands, and you may be able to take a personal trip down the river and have one guy, could be a Moor or a guider, with one oar, if you will, rowing a single wooded vessel down a river. Petersburg was a place that made these boats, and you had so many regions in America that would look like a paradise, would look just like Venice or Paris or if you can imagine rowing down a river on a single boat made of gopher wood or chestnut wood, and then having all of that culture destroyed, flooded, erased, and then transferred. And then today you have the descendants of the people who feel it in their hearts that this is my ancestors' stuff, who feel it in their hearts when they look up Petersburg, Georgia, that it was Negroes here. And then you have a group of people saying that wasn't y'all. Y'all were slaves. Y'all aren't heirs. And now we got to battle when in actuality, the force that's pulling us closer to the land is the only force we should be listening to. When I released that there were underwater cities in 2019, I didn't go in depth because I knew I wasn't equipped to handle all the questions that'll come. But this Petersburg, I'm gonna put a little nugget out there. Saint Peter, and these chestnut trees that line the East Coast, and Vienna, and these classical artists. And when you think of cartoon. I don't know, was it a cartoon? There's a cartoon called Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo was a real thing. There was this character named Waldo that everybody was looking for. And white people made a total mockery out of this person. This Waldo was called Vivaldi. Vivaldi was a saint. This saint, Vivaldi, was found deceased in the hollows of a chestnut tree. Now, Vivaldi is one of the most famous classical composers from Vienna, and it just, as an opera singer, it just, when I first read the history on Vienna, South Carolina, and the big chestnut trees that was there, and Vivaldi, I know all about Vivaldi. And then when I reread the story about Where's Waldo, and this Waldo was a saint who was found praying in a praying position inside a chestnut tree, just made me wonder. We are being made a mockery of over and over and over again on so many levels that it's not even, it ain't even funny at this point. We are being made a mockery of on so many levels. It's all in our face. Now, I get into that a little bit later on, the depthness of this saint that they call Waldo. which was Vivaldi, who was a priest, who was called the Red Priest at that. It's a lot, guys. It's a lot of stuff underwater. I'll just say that. During World War I and World War II era, the Negroes of America was fighting wars on two fronts. It was worse than what we're going through today, but it's something that we can absolutely relate to. There was a campaign called the Double V campaign. Double V campaign was a peace sign. Yes, Negro, Black, African American, whatever you want to call us today, men made up this peace sign during that era. This was not the Woodstock era. This was World War I and World War II era. Double V campaign, where Negroes felt like they were going across seas to fight a war, but at home when they returned, they weren't respected. It's a lot worse than the disrespect we're going through today. These were people who knew they were heirs, who knew they were fighting for their land, who were wanting to protect America as a whole, but they were segregated. So the Double V campaign was put into place by these Negro men, and I went to see whether this was anywhere in like legislation or something, because I'm always trying to figure out the role our American government, especially the Army, played in the demise of us as a whole. Because as you know, the cities were flooded by the Army Corps of Engineers. Now, we're not being told the whole story as to who was underwater, whether people got out of these cities in time. But I want to see whether these Negro men ever got the respect that they were fighting for, or whether they was just simply murdered off while fighting. So I saw something on a House resolution recognizing the difficult challenges Black veterans face when returning home after serving in armed forces, their heroic military sacrifices, and their patriotism in fighting for equal rights and for the dignity of a people and a nation. This just happened. The Double V campaign was during the World Wars, and they just now putting a resolution on the books recognizing the difficulties that our ancestors, immediate, direct, Harlem Hellfighters and all them boys, Tuskegee Airmen and all them boys, all your militia districts, your family who were contracted to fight, they're just now recognizing and it ain't even passed all the way. It ain't even agreed to in the House and agreed to in the Senate. What level of disrespect? What level of disrespect? In our quest to find out what happened, in our quest to get some kind of restitution so that we can pull our families out of the poverty situation, so that we can protect ourselves, because remember, there is a global warming campaign happening right now. Zero carbon. Don't forget. We're supposed to be extinct by 2050. See, this is why this land patent situation is so important. Because you need enough people on their properties. You need enough people with jurisdiction over their own family inheritance to stop these plans of extermination that these people have going on. Now, you know these people do not care about global warming. These are the same people who cut down billions, who strategically used bugs and fungus to kill billions of chestnut trees, the same chestnut trees that was cleaning CO2 out of the atmosphere. These people pretend like they care about global warming, and they are one generation removed from their ancestors who destroyed America. Not to mention the human incinerators all over, human and animal incinerators all over America. Not to mention blowing up rocks in order to extract gold out. Not to mention fracking on our heirs' property in order to extract oil out. These are the same people that are in Congress right now, that are in courthouses around America saying we have a global warming problem. Too much CO2 emissions in the air. I'm just trying to make sure we free ourselves so that we can pay attention to our heirs' property. I'm not going to free ourselves. I mean, free ourselves from all of these social constructs, from all of these voices that are telling us this ain't yours. Yeah, you may have a land patent, but that ain't yours. There's something called a forced heirship. I want y'all to look into. Now, the reason I say get attorneys is because there's a lot of stuff on the books like this that you may not understand. You may not be able to get all of these because they're ever changing. As we move, these people move too. Now, in this forced heirship, a percentage of your ancestors' property is supposed to automatically go to you, forced to go to you. In the books. So even if you had 160 acres, man, and y'all cheated my estate, this forced heirship was supposed to give me and my family a percentage of that land, no matter what. Now, in the forced heirship, a percentage go to you, period. And then there's another percentage that people can kind of do whatever they want to do, assigns. It can escheat to the state. They can take it via eminent domain. They can do all that stuff. But a portion is supposed to go to me, no matter what. Because that was my ancestors' stuff. Now, I'm trying to make sure, guys, that our portions that were supposed to automatically go to us is not what's Vienna underwater, Petersburg underwater, via the Army Corps of Engineers. People have taken portions of our heirs' property, put it in trust accounts, and moved those trust accounts to offshore accounts. I need my financial people to wrap your mind around this. It ain't just us. It's a whole lot of people involved in trying to figure this out too. These foreigners, foreign governments, said you abandoned your land. Made sure a percentage of your land was underwater, and made sure a percentage was locked in a trust account offshore. Now, when you fight in court, you must keep all of this in the back of your mind. If you're fighting without an attorney, you must keep all of this in the back of your mind. Plenty heirs property laws in different states that you must know. Trust me. You must know. Now, this is Uniform Simultaneous Death Act. It's another thing that you might need to look into. Okay? This basically states that if your ancestor and his wife and their kids died in a church fire, because as we know, a plenty of churches was set on fire with Negroes inside. If they all died together, then that property is supposed to be divided. That means every living relative was supposed to be able to divide this property via this simultaneous death. Now, this is different per state. These things are different per state. Literally, guys. It's so many intricate details. I would never just tell you, go file this at the courthouse and then do this. You can't do it. Because it's so many intricate little things like this in each state that you must know if you don't want to get an attorney. Even if you get an attorney, you still need to know it, because the attorney may not even be looking at heirs property. There was an attorney down in Florida who was working the heirs property case and then filed something on time and missed out on $4 million case because he didn't file something on time or didn't file the right thing on time. So you still need to know what's going on. This is your heirs property. You need to know this stuff from top to bottom. And every week, I am committed to figuring this out. And I need y'all to be just as committed, because we have to emancipate ourselves. We're the heirs. No one can free us but us. Imagine trying to free an heir. Now, like I said, on the last show, I was talking about freedmen and freeholders. Now, freeholders and freedmen, they had what's called an ordinary court system. This ordinary court system is the victim. When you hear courthouse burnings, they were specifically burning these ordinary courthouses because they housed your heirs' property. Today, these ordinary courthouses, if they're still existing, they're in hick towns. But if not, there's the probate court. Now, when you look up these heirs property laws and such, you will see that most of them is on a probate court. They're turned into probate court, and they go by probate laws, basically. So now you know. Ordinary, when you look up freeholder, you're going to find the ordinary. It's the same, it's probate. That's your land patents today. Now, depending on who has jurisdiction, that's who you have to sue. That's you may be going to the state court, because the state may have jurisdiction over you. It's cheat. Some stuff is cheats to the state. So the state may have jurisdiction. So you'd be suing in a state court. I hope I'm not going too fast or too slow. It's state as cheat. So if you had property, if your family had property that just kind of disappeared because they said you abandoned it. That's likely going to be a state issue. Now, just going to find where property is, you're going to BLM. You're pulling your land patents. That's not where it ends, though. Once you get the certified copies, look at the coordinates on that land patent. Go to the local courthouse, wherever those coordinates are, and pull the plat books. The reason I keep telling y'all this is because when you pull those plat records, it's more land attached to it. Now, you'll be able to see whether that's the portion that is in a trust account offshore. Literally. You'll be able to see if this is a Petersburg situation. Where all of those buildings, as well as Peter's boats, were underwater. You'll be able to see whether this is a Vienna situation when you go in the courthouse and look at those plat books. Because it'll say a lake there or a dam there. When you think about emancipation as it relates to us, you can't come and free me. I'm already free. I can't get a claim off slavery if I'm already free. My ancestors can't get a claim off slavery if they're already free. Not only that, when you go look at how they worded this stuff, they worded it so you can't come after them as it relates to slavery, because they have the slave schedules where there are payouts on those slave schedules. And please also notice, every time there's a Negro who owns a lot of land, they automatically say he was born into slavery. Just so you think that man was a slave. That was a free man. Free, man. Ordinary court. Freeholder. Heirs property. Land patent is the title. It's not a deed. That free man took his title and created deeds from the title. And if his niece needed 10 acres, he deeded his niece 10 acres. If his daughter needed 10 acres, or 1 acre, or nephew, that's where your deeds come in at. Now, just because you have these individual deeds, don't take that free man off the land. It's still his land. Period. It's still your heir's property. Period. There is no such thing as someone being a slave, making very minimum wages, and then coming out just months later and owning 160 acres, bought free and clear. There's no such thing. There's no such thing, because how could you afford it? You would never have to be a slave if you can afford to buy 160 acres or 3,000 acres. I want y'all to know tonight that you're more powerful than you think. Two largest freeholders in the world, Queen Elizabeth and the Negroes of America. Queen Elizabeth and the Negroes of America. And a lot of that land that Queen Elizabeth has is cheated to her. Now, I didn't mean to be so hard on y'all last show. I just don't want to hear the slave narrative anymore, because you're not going to be able to prove it, because you don't know um, enough about this heirs property situation. You don't know enough about this freeholder situation to try to skip over it and go to a slavery claim. And anybody who's teaching you that you are a slave and that Pan-Africanism is a way and that you should just go back to Africa and forget about Petersburg, forget about Vienna, and forget about Lake Lanier. You can just follow all the dams all across America. It's cities up under every last one of them. In fact, Lake Hartwell Dam, Army Corps of Engineers files tells you they were able to build the dam so high because of the rubble. They use existing structures in the city to build the dam. I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to make sure we get this right. I'm trying to make sure we get this right. And I hope y'all understand. I am trying to make sure we get this right. These people, the whole world, is after your land. There's an international rescue committee. An international rescue committee, guys, that just brought 100,000 immigrants in America on your heirs property, did not ask you for no permission. They don't care that they're on the property that was supposed to be forced heirship for you. They don't care. They don't care that this inheritance was stolen from your children. Nobody cares. You got to free yourself. You got to free yourself. They can't free you. You can't free. How are you going to free a lord? If they don't know, they just don't know. And that's the whole mentality that the pseudo powers that be have with you all. If they don't know, they just don't know. I ain't gonna tell them. They ain't call you lazy. All while flooding your tobacco empires, because Petersburg was a tobacco empire. Same tobacco the Egyptians was wrapping, mummifying their bodies with. Same tobacco. Indigenous to America, same tobacco. When you look up forced heirship and all of these intricate things surrounding heirship, you will understand why I keep saying each state is different. It's not because I'm trying to be hard or harsh. I'm just telling you, each state is different. It's different, guys. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I'm determined. And I need some of y'all to be determined too. There you go. Lake Norman, NC. There you go. Yep, Lake Norman. You got hard labor lake here in Metro Atlanta. Hard labor lake. Hard labor is a state park. It's one of the largest state parks here. And it was flooded. It was flooded. And when I look at all of these areas, it's like Who was supposed to inherit it? Who was supposed to inherit it? I was in the Navy for 13 years. Yeah, and they have you looking that exactly, Sister Carol. They have you looking somewhere else for your land and your lineage, and it's just, I'm telling y'all, from the time I hung up with y'all last up until about an hour ago, I just heard we have got to find a way. If we can't drown these people out, we just got to ignore them. I don't know. It's kind of impossible because there's so many of them. I can handle going off on these people and ignoring them because I'm so focused on the mission. But perhaps some of y'all can't. I need y'all to be laser focused on this land. I need y'all eyes on it. Every state is different. Every state got lakes with cities underwater. Is that the part of your heirs property that was supposed to be forced airship? You have areas in America, guys, that if they blow some of these dams, it's going to flatline cities. Even Savannah. Because it's a locked dam over there in Savannah. And they talking still today. They were going to break the levee. They was going to break that lock dam. But people in that area of North Savannah was concerned that they would be flooded. Not only would they be flooded, they'd be wiped out. Look at the area of Florida where the Chattahoochee River, I think it's the Chattahoochee River. It dams somewhere in Florida. If they blow that levee, it's gonna wipe. It's so many people gonna be underwater. It's ridiculous. Go and look at what these people did, and then look at this zero carbon emissions, and then look at how we are pushed into certain areas via property tax inflation. Well, we can't afford the property tax, so now we're gentrified to this area. We got to look at all of this and make sure we're not in a line of fight. Because if you want us extinct, and this is what the financial pundits are saying, this is what the medical pundits are saying. They said this in 2019, that we'd be extinct by 2050. How do you plan on doing that? Because that damn sure did it to our ancestors. So if they have 100-year plans, 200-year plans, we got to make sure we ain't in it. We have to make sure, for the sake of these children that's coming after us. Now, when you read these files and you see these dams, these systems, keep in mind, we got an ace in the hole called militia districts. Now, you might read up on militia districts and it's going to say, oh, the Reconstruction Act gave rise to the militia districts. No, it didn't. And then it says, oh, in the militia districts that happened after the Civil War, these people protected Negroes as they went into polls to vote and all this stuff. That's not true either. That's not all the way true either. They're trying to pretend like the militia districts were set up by the Union Army in order to protect Negroes as they went in to vote, and to protect Negroes from KKK. That ain't true. I don't even know. These people have written so much in their files to make it seem like we had no part in protecting ourselves. Those militia districts were family ran, tribe ran. Okay? So what these people are putting in is not true. You go into the militia districts, you had family, You had commodities. And these people were protecting each other. These wasn't the Union Army soldiers that was in the South protecting nobody from nothing. Because just a few years prior to, then y'all come down here and kill everybody and burn stuff down. And these are their descendants today are saying, oh, we have a global crisis, a global warming crisis. Well, your ancestors was burning shit down. You descended from the people who was burning things, burning people and churches, destroying cities by fire, Mississippi burning, Rosewood. We can go all day. You descended from the people who were bombing cities. How could there be a global warming crisis? We had militia districts that would protect us in certain areas, wherever the dams are. Families will have to take accountability at some point. This had to be a family first situation. I know a lot of people are involved in a lot of different organizations. At some point we're going to have to emancipate ourselves from all these organizations too, because they've all been overtaken. They've all been corrupted. Every last one of them, guys. Every last one of them. Every Negro organization that started out as pure has been corrupted. And we got to emancipate ourselves from even the organizations and get back to your family and figure this out, because these folk got a whole plan. You see what they just did with this COVID stuff. They're not playing. They want your stuff. It's cold in Asia. And 100,000 of them just escaped from the cold by coming over here this weekend. No permission. All I'm saying is, people aren't willing to put these organizations to the side, put these religions to the side for the sake of preserving your race. No matter which name you want to go by, preserving it. All 8 names that we've been changed to. Preserving it. Preserving your legacy, preserving your history, preserving your heirs property. If y'all ain't willing to put this stuff to the side and everybody put their eyes on this land, on this situation, on these laws. Yes, we shouldn't have to go by laws, but we don't have no military system in place where we can't go by laws. We can't just buck, okay? We don't have no military systems in. The militia districts ain't back in place. But that's a cheat code, because it's easy to look at the files, look at wherever you're from, where you might be from North Carolina. If you know what city you were from in North Carolina, you know where your great-grandmama is from, look at where she's from and who was on that. What's the name of the militia district? And district by district, reform it. You ain't got to be loud with it. Reform it. District by district. And next thing you know, we got some protection around here. As we move in and out of states to help family with heirs property, we got some protection around here. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I know y'all understand what I'm saying. Okay? For my men and women who are in the military, yes, okay, Miss Brown, I understand the U.S. corporation is dissolved, is bankrupt, it's all of the above. But guess what? It must not be. It's still police pulling folks over. So what's going to happen if you go and try to buck? You're going to be locked up because your family ain't in place. Your family ain't in place with its own militia district. Your family don't have their heirs property in place. Now, I'm going to just say this, and I ain't going to hold y'all tonight. I have dedicated my life to this in a sense. Before I came on YouTube, You know, I've been helping people since 2012, my whole adult life. Get land and get out the streets. I started helping the homeless in 2012. That's when I launched my first, company, my non-for-profit, helping veterans get out the street. I went from that to helping people buy land wholesale. I went from helping people buy land wholesale. So many sources to going straight to the titles. So I know how to get land. That ain't the issue. I can tell y'all tonight where to go buy land right now, wholesale. No banks. The reason why I don't come in here and do that is because you're supposed to be extinct by 2050. I don't know whether y'all understand what I'm saying. They have killed hundreds of thousands of Negroes in the last 2 years in the hospitals. So many friends, aunties, uncles, grandparents murdered. You need to be back on your heirs property in your own jurisdiction. You got to be. You got to be. Everybody may not have to be, but enough need to be. I don't care if your family ain't got but 10 acres. 5 acres. You need to be able to refuge somewhere. This whole COVID thing, it wouldn't have happened like it happened had we had this stuff in place. We should have had our own old folks' homes or nursing homes on our own properties. Where I could have sent my grandma when she got sick to your property because you got an old folks home on your property. I could have sent her there instead of sending to these. You get what I'm saying? You have to. We have to. We are adults here. A lot of us are business professionals here. We have to set up systems. We're going to have to set up systems. Because it's some people out there don't like y'all. Now, they done killed your trees. They keep bringing bugs over here, killing your trees. They brought a bug over here to kill you. And it's all being hidden up under zero carbon emission when you're the only human beings that breathe out carbon, because you're the only human beings that make carbon. We call it melanin. No, the chemical structure of it is carbon. You literally breathe out carbon dioxide. This dark stuff that I got is carbon. The chemical structure of melanin is carbon. They don't make carbon. White people don't. Asians don't make carbon. It's just us, guys. It's just us. It's just us. And they've been studying it for years, forever. They're infatuated with studying carbon. Okay? I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. If it seems like I'm being serious tonight, if it seems like a serious matter, please note I must have read something that I ain't telling y'all. I gotta read this about 3 more times before I even come talk. I might need to get some young guys. I might need to send it to Jalen so he can read it. Cause these people got some plans and They had the Crimson Contagion plan. And that was COVID in the flesh. And they did their plan. I'm talking from top to bottom. And boy, they got more of them coming. And we don't have no militaries. And I don't know, maybe somebody can tell me different, but I don't know whether our military is protecting us or not. Because it looked like our military should have stopped us from being slaughtered in these hospitals. It looked like our military shouldn't have never bombed Tulsa. It looked like our military shouldn't have never flooded these cities in the first place. I don't know. Maybe y'all need to tell me something. All my friends military, except one of them. We don't even know. I've had these conversations. We don't even know, y'all. It's too many foreigners in the military. You folks got plans. And to hear, again, because I came up with this title, Emancipated Heirs, listening to Snoop Dogg. I was like, oh, yeah, people are waking up quick. Because we ain't got no choice now. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice in the matter, guys, is what I'm trying to say. Our route is heirs property. Our claim as it relates to a lawsuit, all these burnings and bombings and massacres. And they still are planning more massacres, like right in our face, And bold enough to put the files online. Bold enough, because we'll never decode it. Because we're not supposed to know enough in order to decode it. See? I just came on here to tell y'all tonight that this is solely up to us. You know, it's up to us to get this right. Okay? That's right, Rico Whitlock. That's right, Fuchil. Hey, Patty Way Cuts. Thank you for joining tonight. Yes, we do, Kia. We have plenty of attorneys in the community that are, well, I don't know whether we have a community or not, but we have plenty of attorneys that's dealing with this heirs property situation that are watching the video. And an attorney here in Georgia gave me just a treasure trove of resources to give out for people in Georgia. But from what I'm reading, what happens in Georgia also seems like it works for Virginia and Oklahoma in a weird kind of way. So I can just send what he sent me and, you know, to y'all in different states and just see whether it would work, whether it, you know, would help. When you're looking for an attorney, you're looking specifically for real estate attorneys, because a lot of these real estate attorneys, they're up on the heirs property law. Now they're going to be shocked. Marcus, what y'all thought of the dark? Yeah. What y'all thought dark winter meant? Well, Marcus is military, see, you know, former military. So I already knew, Marcus, you know, what they meant. But you do have people that's in here with us that are in positions. Okay, I just say that. A lot of people, you know, it's people that are watching, that are helping. Lots of people. But, you know, these people got plans, and you'd be shocked when you go on. I ain't gonna tell y'all. Let me read this stuff over some more. You know, I was on the Army's website and saw some stuff that I shouldn't have seen, but it's just right there. And I don't know, guys. We got to get our shit. We got to get our stuff back. We have to emancipate ourselves at this point. It's up to us. All this stuff is up to us. All of it. We got to figure it out. I'll send out what the attorney sent me, as it relates to like stuff we could read over and figure out in Georgia. in Virginia, because Georgia and Virginia has the oldest land records, and niggas are on them. I think the oldest land patent in Virginia was Martin, the Martin family, and they was Negroes. This stuff is ridiculous. This stuff is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, guys. And it's just, if you don't know, you don't know. And then there are brigades of people that just gonna turn y'all in the wrong direction so you can get criminal records and all that stuff. And I'm telling y'all, we emancipate yourself. I don't give a damn how cool the shirt look, the hat look, it don't matter. If you are a Negro from America, you got to emancipate yourself and just move all the way back. I'm telling you. All the way back. And then look at the situation. I don't care if it ain't but 2 people in your family left. All the way back. Because you still being targeted. Whether you know or not. Go all the way back. And then look at it, situation. I love y'all. Yes, that's right. J. McReal, laws can't easily be broken. Some of the others are saying that they have only been here on our land since the 1850s. Who is saying that? You also have, y'all gotta watch out for everything. You know, I was made aware of some of the people who's been teaching here on YouTube, who are using, like I said the other night, using slave voyages as a source. You know, these people do genealogy for Negroes, and they're using slave voyages as a source. So if you're using slave voyages as a source and you do genealogy for Negroes, you're not going to tell them the truth about where they land at. You're going to tell them they came on the boat from Africa. Because you know slave voyages ain't even a source. That's an entertainment website. I don't give a damn who they put on there as a partner. What your great grandma, where does she live? What does... These people are putting folks on boats. This Pan-African movement has resurfaced. These old people that was in this Pan-African movement in the 60s that helped cloud our ancestors, our parents, our aunties and uncles, help turn their attention away from their land. These people, some of these people still alive. They have resurfaced on YouTube with this Pan-African stuff. And instead of them buying them a plane ticket back to Africa, they just want to tell you where you from. They have no property over here. And to be honest, y'all just step all the way back. I stepped back for 2 weeks. Y'all didn't see me on here for 2 weeks. I didn't tell y'all the half. Now, when I came on the other night, I was pretty upset the other night. That last video, I was just hiding it a little bit. But, you know, I'm very concerned. You know, because it's the person, the group of people who are doing genealogy on here, who are using slave voyages as a source. They're pretty popular. And I'm like, boy, y'all really finna mess a lot of people up. They're finna mess a lot of people up. There's a lot of water magic going on here. Perhaps, Marcus, yeah, we can break this voodoo though. You know, we can break the we are the magic. See, that's us. We are the magic, and at this point, you got to realize that sometimes you can be involved in an organization that will mute your magic and you not know it. You can be involved in an organization that'll give you instructions to mute your magic because you don't even know that they are a counterintelligence. or a Green Beret. And they're trained to mute you in every sector of frequency. See, this is frequency. You're dealing with frequency every day, all day. Don't let these people mute y'all. Step back. Tie back into your family. I don't care if y'all don't talk to each other. Find a way to talk to each other. But this is an icebreaker. This subject matter, let this be an icebreaker for your family. I'm telling you. Let this be an icebreaker for your family. Okay, guys? I'm going to see y'all Friday. I ain't going to be so serious on Friday, okay? Because we do have a lot of stuff we can laugh about. But y'all got to know. Y'all got to know this part. Y'all got to know this part. All right? I missed a lot of comments. Thank you, Omega Red. We are the magic shouter. That's right. God of Cosmos 360. 1880 census shows great-great-great-great-grandfather was a farmer. Then he died shortly after he was killed for his land. Man, V, I'm so sorry. You know, I see and read this stuff daily. Trust me. You know, I know. And we got to make sure his property didn't escheat to the state. And the forced airship isn't underwater. We got to make sure that your family got a part of that pie or all of the pie. And if you didn't get it, we got to make sure we can get it back. We can't take it back because we don't have no military. Y'all get what I'm saying. You know. Y'all get what I'm saying. Henry Gates about to tie all the Tulsa descendants. Yeah, they are. You know, I was looking at a video. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of here. I was looking at a video of a politician, and they're saying that we descended from a guy who was the lone survivor of the 1619 trip from Africa. And they said this guy, you know, he owned a lot of property, and he eventually, you know, bought his freedom and bought land and all this stuff. And, you know, the Gullah and the Geechee and all these people descended from him. I want y'all to go back and look at that Wikipedia page. Okay. Look at that Wikipedia page of that guy where it tells that story. That he came on the ship. He was one of the lone survivors. You know, that 1619 voyage, and this big landowner. Go look at the edits on the Wikipedia page. That's how thorough you have to be. Go look at the edits on that Wikipedia page. Go all the way back, because I did it. I'm a thorough little... Go all the way back throughout the years through the edits on that page. And see how far it go back. I went all the way back to the creation of the Wikipedia page. It had one source. PBS was the only source for that character that they're talking about. All you niggas descended from. That same PBS where Henry Louis Gates, during this same era in the early 2000s, where Henry Louis Gates was pulling celebrities on PBS and telling them they were not indigenous to America and telling them which tribe they came from in Africa. This was during that same era. It just so happened. Y'all gonna be shocked when you do it. Or maybe you won't, because I already told you what's gonna happen. You're gonna go all the way back throughout the edits, and they can't change it now. You can't go all the way back and add the sources. It's one source that they came from. They got more sources now. But go all the way back through the edits, guys. Who made that nigga up? I got to go. I love y'all. I'll see y'all Friday. These people playing in our face. They playing in our face. Playing in our face, guys. Big time. Playing in our face. Big time. Okay? Big plays being ran. Big plays being ran. I'll be on here Friday. Let's see. I may come on at. Let's see. I'll probably be on here Friday at 9. Please keep sending me any information that you need me to look over. I'm getting to everybody piece by piece. Trust me, I'm seeing what you're sending. Who's that told me to call them so they can make sure it was me? Y'all, I had to call somebody to verify it was me. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm seeing what y'all sending me. And we're gonna figure this out together. We in it together, y'all. I'm right here with you. It's other people with me that's with y'all too that y'all haven't met yet. But we're in this together, guys. We're in it together. Trust me, we are in it together. Because just like other people got plans for us, we're gonna have to have plans for other people. Okay, please click like on your way out. I hope y'all enjoyed tonight's broadcast, although I wasn't. I was trying to be nice tonight, level-headed, okay? If you missed it, go back to the front. There's a lot of things that we must talk about. Illinois is here. Shout out to you, Brian, first. I know a lot of history about Illinois. You know, a lot of movement went on up there. You're welcome. Yes. Can we go back to the front? Yes. Go back to the front. Damn, well, you got to go, Shot. I appreciate the info, guys. No problem. I'll be back on here. I'll be back on here Friday. We'll chop it up. We'll talk some more. We'll go over some more stuff that we figured this out. I don't give a damn. We got to figure it out state by state on live. Boy, we gonna figure it out. Trust